Hi, this is Dr. Bernal again, and this is the next segment of the race car game. We've made our race car, and now we're going to program it. So I have scripts here, and we were in costumes before because we had just made the race car. So now I am going to program it. What I want to do is I want to use the arrow keys on my keyboard to make the car move around. We could do it a couple of ways. We could actually have it so that you move your mouse around, and if it touches the green, it goes back to the starting line. Or we could just have it with the arrow keys. The arrow keys, I think, are a little bit more fun, especially if you're going to have a two-player game. If you're going to use the mouse, it's really kind of difficult to have two mice when you're computing. So what we're going to do is we are going to start out with the basic outline of it. If you see here, and I'm going to use a little graphic so that it makes it a little bit easier to understand. We have to understand what the X and Y axis is. And I just changed the background. Don't worry, your background is still safe. If you look, it says Y here. That's the Y axis. And this is the X axis. And when you go back to your scripts, you're going to see that there are some things here that say X and Y. So when I am programming the car, I have to think, I want the car to go up. I want to use the up arrow. And up means that I'm changing the Y axis. So I'm going to go change by 10. Now, when does that happen? That happens when I am, if I am using a certain key. So I'm going to go to Control, and I'm going to pull out an if, and there's a space, then block. I'm not going to slip that inside. So the thing is, when I am, what key am I using? I'm going to use the up arrow. So I'm going to go right here. When I use the up arrow, the car is going to change the Y axis by 10. And if I do this now, it's only going to change it by 10 one time, and that's not very fun. So I'm going to make it forever. And when does this happen? This happens when the flag is clicked. So let me go back, and I'm going to change it back to the racetrack so you can see. And I'm going to click on the flag, and I want you to see the programming. So it's kind of like a sentence. When I click the flag, forever, if I touch the up arrow, the car is going to change its position, its Y position, by 10. So let's try it out. Hey, it works. But if I click on the down arrow, or the left arrow, or the right arrow, nothing happens. So I have to change that as well. Okay. So I'm going to give you a hint, and then I'm going to see if you can figure out the rest of it. So I'm going to duplicate this. This is a really easy way to do that, and I'll show you how I did that. I right-click, and I have some options there. Duplicate, delete, add comment, or help. So I used the duplicate. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this, change Y, and I'm going to dump it here. That's one of the ways that you can delete things. So I'm going to go back to motion. We had Y here. Now I'm going to change the X. Something I want to point out is you can always tell where on the Cartesian plane you have a point because the X and Y is always shown here. So if I'm here, I'm at X 93 and at Y negative 93. Oh, sorry, X 193. So let me go back here for a second. Now I have, if the up arrow is pressed, change Y, and if the up arrow is pressed, change X. Let's see what happens when I do that. That's not quite right with the up arrow. So I need this to be the right arrow. So let's try it again. I am pushing the up arrow, and now I'm pushing the right arrow. I want you to do the same thing, but making it go down and to the left. And I'll give you a hint. You need a negative in there. All right, I'll see you on the other side.